You're listening to The Hardpoint with onepunchdad and Code Rome's. Welcome back to The Hardpoint, episode number 41.
Quattro uno.
Quattro. My name is Josh. I go by onepunchdad online.
My name's Cody. I go by Big C Bird in the house.
He's big now.
Big
He's
C
grown.
Bird. Big C Bird.
Power has increased. Big C Bird in the
Leveled
house.
up. We're the big Dirk Nowitzki episode.
Is he number 41?
He's 41.
We haven't done an athlete in a while, man.
No, we were kind of in no man. Once you get into like a lot of the 30s, I don't know.
You're my resident Shannon Sharp, man. You got the inside sports knowledge.
We're just gonna pop. Yeah. I'll pop up with one. One, when I remember to do it in general, and two, when I know an athlete of that number. So two things have to align.
Yeah,
and
we did like kind of miss the ball on like some pretty critical like who was it? It was Tony. No, not I almost said Tony Montana. Joe Montana.
Oh yeah,
Tony Montana, not an athlete.
It's a dangerous game we're playing here. It's a dangerous game.
We're towing the line here. We're towing the line. I'm having a great week. I'm having a great weekend, but I'll kick it to you, man. Where are you at in life right now? What's going on in the C-Merd zone?
What is going on?
What's going on?
I'm really excited for What Are You Crushing today. I have one pretty unique one.
Let's go.
And then one I'm going to speak on something else. But as far as life, you know the new Left to Suffer album dropped. Have you ran it yet?
I haven't run it. I'm waiting. So I got sick last week. And then this past week, I had one of those work weeks that directly interfered with my gym time.
Yeah.
I got to the gym twice this past week, which feels terrible. But the gym is where music and that's where it happens, right? That's where we're trying the new stuff out. We're taking it for a spin. So I have dog-eared it, but I have not run it.
Okay, that's been good. That's been good. My gym's been okay.
Shout out Pete.
Yeah, shout out Pete. I'm trying to think of what I've been doing. We have a wedding this week. It's my wife's sister's wedding on Friday.
Okay, nice.
So my life has been a culmination of like work, really busy. It's hot. Everybody wants a pool.
Yeah.
It's busy, right? And then this wedding, we're actually in the wedding. So going to a wedding
rate your level of involvement from a 1 to a 10 in this wedding.
I'm a groomsman, so I'm
that's
part of it, but I don't have to give a speech or anything.
That's like a baseline 7.
Yeah.
At least.
yeah. I don't get to show up when it starts and leave whenever I want. I'll put it like that.
Okay. Yeah. So you're at least a 7. We know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and it's a big deal. Obviously, my wife and her sister are very close.
Sure.
And my brother-in-law to be, we've become very close as well. So we're excited.
Huge shout out to Amber and Caleb, by the way.
Yeah.
Regular listeners of the show. Congratulations, kids. We're so proud and happy for you.
Very happy. We saw them today.
Sorry.
We went and got some lunch. But
wonderful.
Work is crazy busy. We still have a newborn. That hasn't changed. And
she didn't grow 3 years overnight. That's weird.
And getting ready for this wedding. I did come up. Okay, so yesterday, my wife went and saw a movie. So I was on full-time dad watch mode for 3-4 hours. And got a little bored.
First time doing that, or
no? I've done it a couple times. But this was. I did it once overnight, so technically that was the longest, but we slept. So this was probably the longest, like during the day, the longest stretch.
Gotcha.
And it is a lot. I frequently look to my wife in a lot of situations where she doesn't appear to be okay. Looking to her like, what do we need to do? It's not odd. Anyways, I came up with a new game. It's called Flying Baby, and she loves it. Now, no babies were harmed during the making of this game.
I was about to say, the cover of this book is awesome. I'm opening it up and I'm reading the inside flap immediately.
Yes. So Flying Baby, I saw before she was born, my wife sent me this TikTok video of this guy explaining different ways you could hold a baby. And one that stuck with me, he called it the sloth. And it's where you basically put her face down on your forearm. So you have one leg and one arm on each side. And then you're kind of like hand gripping her chest.
Yeah. Like Baloo in the Jungle Book. He's just kind of like on a tree branch, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I'll get her like that, and then I'll stabilize with the other arm. And then I'll run through the house with her like that and kind of going back and forth. And she holds her head up and she puts her arms out like this. And from from my point of view, kind of up and behind her, it looks like she's flying around the house. And I kind of tilt her and I'm running around going different directions. And she's just at the point where she can really hold her head up for a long time and, look around. And, she's developed those neck muscles. So she'll hold it up, eyes wide open. And I think she's just like, I haven't seen the world like this before.
Dude, she's going to be having like superwoman dreams when she's our age. She's going to be like, why am I having these dreams of flying over a cityscape?
Yeah. It's really fun.
Your dad did that to you. She's laughing and giggling a little bit, yeah?
She's just looking.
Chuckle.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, she's smiling. She's looking. I did it. So there was one time she got upset, and I had already done Flying Baby one time. It had already been born, and I was like, I wonder if I do it now while she's upset, if it'll kind of calm her down. And she stopped crying. So yeah, my wife wasn't like as psyched about it as I was, but
Hey man, that's what dads do. My thing that always seemed to, and this, like, I have an 11 and a 9-year-old as well, and they still kind of like, can I do it? I will lay flat on my back and my knees are kind of up like I'm doing a crunch.
Yeah.
And they will lay their stomach on my shins, and it's like the airplane, the airplane, right?
Yeah.
They lay on my shins and they do that. They put their arms out. And I rock them side to side, and then, like give them a tickle and they tumble off, whatever. But that 100% when they're tiny itty. Well, I don't know. Your daughter's probably still a little too tiny, but when
she's not tall enough for that ride.
When they get toddling, when they get to toddling, and they get tall enough for the ride, that's a good one. That's an easy, just like, you're laying down, so you're chilling, right?
Right.
You're just like, oh yeah, yep, I'm helping. Dad's helping, but they're having a blast. So
I'll keep that in the queue. I do find it funny though, because when I get done, I'm the one that's breathing heavy and kind of trying to catch my breath. We can only do that ride for so long, but she enjoys it. I thought it was really funny. So Flying Baby, that's
good. Flying Baby, I like it. Yeah, it's funny how, like, you do these things to soothe your children, you play with them or whatever. Like, we have this thing we do called Bad Guy, which is pretty self-explanatory, right? Like, I kind of, if I can, get down on all fours and kind of like, I'll like snarl, like, growl at them. And they all just like, they know what's happening. Like, if I come in the room and I get on all fours and I go like, they all know it's game on, and they scatter like roaches. And I'll chase them around and tickle them a little bit or whatever. And then they all pile on top of me and kind of like fake punch me.
Right.
And I'll be like, oh, I'm dead. And they go hide. And I go find them. The problem with that is, as they've gotten older, like my 11-year-old, like, we wrestle.
Right.
And if he was a woman and I was trying to get his purse, I would get the purse. Right. But I might get a black eye too. Like, he's getting to that age. He's getting to that age where he can't overtake me.
Sure.
But it's no longer the freebie that it was when he was like 5. You know what I mean? So now when we wrestle, he's like, like, you could see him like calling on some strength that is new to him, and like, it is like the Batman versus Superman where I'm like punching and he catches it and he's like,
hero.
So like, we're hilarious. Having some actually, and I'm like, okay, all right. But awesome. Like, me versus all 4 of them now has gotten pretty, like, I have to tell them, like, look, y'all could kill me if we do this wrong. If the energy gets too high, Dad might die. So we gotta.
I was gonna say, so if you were lying flat on your back, and the starting position was all 4 of them on you, and it was like no punches pulled, like, could you take your kids at this point, or do they have the edge? If you started in a vulnerable position like that. Obviously, if you can pick them off one by one, that's a different story. But like,
I will say today, yes. But those days, Cody, they're numbered. They're numbered. Like specifically, my oldest is a boy, so I know he's well within range of being able to like hurt me at least.
Sure.
Like not overtake me. No, like until he's also 200 something pounds, probably not.
Yeah.
But absolutely like. Well, and they're kids too, so they don't have that control over the body. So many times we've been doing this, and I catch like an errant knee to the groin, or like straight up get punched in the face by someone who's just having such a good time that their hands are just like flying around.
Yeah.
So it's a risk. It's definitely a risk. But right now, if they were doing the Matrix, like they're all piled on top of me, I could absolutely like King Dad bust out of it and break away from that situation if I needed to. Yeah.
Very funny.
Well, that seems like a nice natural pause for us to break into our first segment. What are you crushing? Where we talk about whatever media, TV show, movie, book, video game, audio book, doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it right here. Then, little teaser for you guys. We are going through our backlog in our mailbox. So we are going to do a deep dive on some of our write-ins. I know we've had a couple weeks here where we haven't gotten a chance to address those. So we're going to comb through some of our write-ins and get those answered and have some good discussions. Thank you guys for all of our writer-inners.
Yeah.
You will be read today.
Yes.
You will be read. So we appreciate that. But what are you crushing? I'm going to go first.
Yeah, go.
So I have been kind of on like a cycle. I've been working on some animated stuff. I put out the first episode of animated series I'm making. It's called The War King.
I watched
it's on YouTube
it's
now.
Fire. I meant to text you. I'm sorry. It's great, man. I love it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I did see you left a comment on it. And
I did.
I did acknowledge that. But thank you for that. So that's out there. But I told myself after I got that done, because it actually took me a couple weeks to get that done, that I was going to take a week of not animating and not doing any kind of like arduous like work on any kind of animation stuff. So I got a pretty good cycle going there. So this week was that week, right? It is a week where when I had spare time, I did not make myself feel guilty about, hey, you're not making content right now. You need to go make content. Didn't do that. I picked up my Switch and I loaded up Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay.
Cody, I know you're not a Switch player. I know we've talked about it. I love the Switch. I'm not a huge Mario guy. I know there's other things on the Switch that are good, but I will tell you, for someone who has traveled and been on the road as much as I have for my job, I do love having it and being able to play games that are fun, but aren't necessarily like as high stakes, if that makes sense.
Sure.
But I love Breath of the Wild. Finished that. Tears of the Kingdom I got last year when that dropped. I actually bought it the day after the Carnifex show, if you can believe that. And I've been chipping away all year long, chipping away. Haven't played the Switch in several months at this point, but I picked it back up this past week and have just been kind of laying on the couch. I've got it right there on my stomach, and I can actually like what I like. I'm a background noise guy, so I often will put a movie on and play the game because there's not a ton of cutscenes after a while in that game, and I'm pretty late into it. So yeah, I any evening I have to myself, I put a movie on. I watched The Green Mile again, which is a great one. I watched Starship Troopers last night.
Hell yeah,
and
that's a good one.
Played some Hotkey, man. Played some Tears of the Kingdom. So I'm doing like my cleanup run. I've done everything that I have to do before I go fight the final boss. Now I'm doing all the things that are extra.
Okay.
So I'm pretty much just running cleanup on Tears of the Kingdom right now.
This is the one with the upside down, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So it's got kind of 3 layers to the map, which is really incredible because when you consider how much space there is in this game and the fact that it is a Switch game, so you think of like Call of Duty is like 180 gig install, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
This game I think is like 30 gigs. But
how?
there is the land level, right? Mm-hmm. There is a sky level. So you have all these like floating sky islands with hidden things and temples and stuff that you got to beat. And then there is an underground and a complete same size as the main map underground level.
Yeah, it's like a 1-for-1, right? Like it's just, is it the same thing, but it's like evil? No. Oh, it's totally different.
No, it's a completely different element. So you go down there, it's underground, right? So it's super dark. You have to find these things called light roots, which are directly under all the shrines that you have to complete to kind of like build up your stats throughout the game. But they're light roots that light up these areas throughout the depths. It's called. And you can also find these that are called bright bloom seeds, and you can actually attach them to your arrow and shoot them, and it's kind of like a torch that kind of lights up an area. But it's terrifying because it is mostly dark down there, and there's areas where you're just kind of stumbling around, and like you'll be walking, and all of a sudden you're climbing on something, and you're like, oh, I guess I hit a dead end. But it's amazing what they were able to stuff into that game, and and I know it's been out for over a year now, but I went back to that. That's definitely what I've been thinking about when I'm not. When I got nothing to do, that's what I've been doing, is playing Tears of the Kingdom.
What makes it so good? Why do you like it so much? Is it story, gameplay? Like, what makes it different?
A lot of it for me is the aesthetic, right? Like I do prefer to play a lot of games that are kind of like dour, like your COD, like your tactical shooter, or Metal Gear, which is kind of like everyone's very super serious and stuff. This game's got a lot of like sweetness to it, a lot of beauty, a lot of it's kind of that cell shaded anime-ish kind of look. The music is very kind of vibey. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of that. There's just the general aesthetic of the game. The controls are really tight. I really like the controls, especially as you go on and you get more abilities and you kind of unlock the ability to traverse the world in a more a cleaner way, I guess, if you could say that.
Right.
There's a lot of elements, man. The story is really good.
Okay, I was going to ask if the story, does it deliver in that area?
It does, and it's kind of one of those things where it's not necessarily like you're getting these big, huge cut scenes and you're getting them on you might play the game for 8 days straight and not see a single cut scene.
Okay.
And a lot of the regular NPC dialogue is written, like you talk to someone and you just get a box with text. So if it's someone who's not like pivotal to the plot,
right, it's
normally like just written dialogue. But it's fun, man. It's a lot of fun. It's I would say, if you're looking for a good open world game that doesn't necessarily like eat your life in the Red Dead way, there's a lot of things that really kind of give me the Red Dead vibes, though. Like you make food for health and stuff. I love making food. I love collecting ingredients for food. There's a day-night cycle. There's a sleep mechanic in there. There is kind of a hub world where you go and you can kind of like restock and collect yourself and talk to friendly people. And I get vibes from that, but it's so cool to be able to play it in a handheld, honestly. Right. I like it. And sometimes I'll throw it up on the screen.
I was going to say, how do you play? Because I know you can play it on the TV or like the handheld version. So
you can. I have been playing undocked. I actually like, now that I'm kind of in that part of the game where I've pretty much seen all the cutscenes and I'm just cleaning up stuff. So there's not a lot of like talking or dialogue that I like that I need to hear.
Right.
I will put a movie on in the background and just kind of wander around the world.
I'm interested. It looks good. My barrier to entry is quite high. It requires buying an entire another console, which probably means I will not play it anytime soon.
I have an extra Switch that's not getting used, man. If you ever want to take a Zelda game for a spin, it'd be my pleasure to hook you up.
It's not a bad idea. Whoa. I just had bubble throat there.
Not a bad idea.
Part of the reason now that I feel kind of guilty playing games is just with the newborn, we got so much going on that I feel like if I'm not working or taking care of them in some way, shape, or fashion, I feel like I'm not really doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
I will say on this topic, because I know my crushing's been going for quite a while here, but I will say this. I don't feel as guilty about pulling out the Switch. It's like playing a game on your phone.
Right.
It really is. Like if you sit down to play a game at the Xbox on your TV, the TV you usually, well, no, you game in your office, I guess. Yeah. But even then, you are disappearing into your office to play your Xbox, right? That is a ritual, right? Like your wife is like, oh, Cody is in his office playing his game.
Right.
I suddenly feel guilt about bothering him or whatever. But if you're able to pop a squat next to the crib, or in the kitchen or in the living room, not occupy the primary TV, and just kind of like knock some stuff out. The Switch, the what is it called? The kind of smart where you turn it off, or sleep mode. Like the Switch is really good about, like, if you put it in sleep mode because you have to go rock baby or do dishes or whatever, you pick it up and you just carry on.
Right.
So if you ever have to stop that, you can stop it.
Right.
And go do what you need to do and come back.
I 100% agree. That's where I was going with it. Xbox requires me to disappear and be away from them.
Yeah.
But if I could, in the same room, while the baby's asleep and we're just kind of like chilling on the couch, if I could game but not have to be gone to do so, then I might be, I might be more inclined to play something like that.
I will tell you, and I know like PlayStation has a device that does some kind of like streaming stuff.
Yeah. The Portal, I think.
Yeah, the Portal, which apparently is not great. Xbox has, like, I think you did a video on your Code Rome site.
Cloud gaming, not great
Cloud gaming, not great either, right? When you play a Switch, it's really going to make you wonder, like, why are we not getting all of our lab coats on this? Like, I want...
Right.
I would love to be able to do more of my gaming that way. I know Stream Deck is also a thing. We talked with Pete about that one. Yeah, I love handheld gaming this way. It's not ideal, but it is, especially if you've got a busy family life where you're on the road a lot and you don't necessarily have one of those lives where you can just like plop in a place where, like me and Cody are at right now, and just play games unbothered. Handheld gaming is very attractive in that way. So
totally, I might be interested in that unused Switch you got going on over there.
Let me know, man. I'll take care of you.
Will do. You're gonna have to show me how to use it. What else you crushing? Is that your crushing?
That's kind of it, man. Like, I would love to say the movies that I watched whenever I was playing the game, but my attention was only half on them, and they were movies I've already seen too. I don't know if you ever watched The Green Mile or
which one was that?
Green Mile is the one with Tom Hanks and Michael Clark Duncan.
Never seen
like the
it.
big prison. Oh man, we got.
I know what you're talking about, but it doesn't look very good. What is it about?
It
looks boring.
I'll tell you off pod, man. It's a long explanation.
Okay.
It is a good movie. Like, it's kind of slow. It's not like a action packed or anything, but it's amazing. It is a tremendous movie.
Now, Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
You got me on that one. That's a good one.
That is a good one. That's a good, just like low threat B movie.
Yes. That one's good.
Yeah.
All right. My crushing.
What are you crushing?
I'll get the house cleaning stuff out of the way first. I think Breakpoint is a fail. I think it's a failed experiment. I've given it 3 tries, which I know doesn't sound like a lot, especially considering the fact that I paid actual money for this game.
Right.
This game's just a mess. It is a mess. From the menus to the way that it tries to, like, the story, like, it's already ruined the story for me. It's constantly flashing the new DLC in front of my face, and which picks up, it's just weird. Like, the whole thing's a mess. Now, it's unfortunate because navigating the world, the gunplay is all like a 10 out of 10, dude. The combat is some of the most satisfying, fun combat I've ever played in a game. It's great. And the fact that you have your operator that you can customize with different looks and gear and all that, like, the whole thing on paper sounds awesome. But I don't know, man. It's just, it has not pulled me in. So I think I'm going to put that to the side. And what I'm going to play, I'm going to do it. I'm going to finish. I'm actually going to start it over because it's been a while. I'm going to do Cyberpunk.
Okay.
I'm going back to Cyber. I'm starting a new one.
A new Cyberpunk. Wow.
Yep. Okay. I'm going to do that. That's the game I should be playing. I relate this to like procrastination in real life. Like you have this thing you should be doing and you know it's the one thing you should be doing, but you do everything else besides that. That's what I've been doing with Callisto Protocol. It was fun. Didn't finish it. Breakpoint, it's a mess. I'm not going to go back to it. Cyberpunk is great. We both said we loved that game, but we didn't finish it. We haven't been back to it, and there's really no reason for it. So I'm going back to Cyberpunk starting Saturday night. And I'm gonna finish that game.
I'm amped, man. I wish I had the strength to start it over because I do feel like I did a ton of stuff in Cyberpunk. My
sister and I played it side by side over Christmas last year. Yeah. And so I had fun. We passed the sticks. I had a fun time playing it with her. But I was not able to like pay attention I just don't know what the fuck's going on, basically. So yeah, I feel like I could start over and kind of feel like it's still the first time in a lot of ways because I missed a lot. You know, we're more socializing, hanging out than we are like hanging on every word that's being said on the screen. So, that's where I'm at on that. The other thing that I've been crushing. So my dad and we went and saw a movie on Friday night.
Alien.
We went and saw Alien.
Okay.
And my dad is like an Alien fanatic, bro. Like he's seen the first one, I feel like 100 times. Seen the second one 100. Like he loves Alien, man.
It's weird you mention that. I've actually watched an Alien movie with your dad, like present.
It's like the weirdest thing you've ever said. How?
It is a weird. Well, not recently. I was a kid, and Aliens, the second one, was on TV, I think. And I was way too young to be watching it. Like that movie is hyper violent.
Yeah.
Even for an 80s movie. But your dad was there. And I remember he was geeked. He was enjoying it. And I was like a kid, like this is nightmare fuel, but
he loves it. It came out on Thursday. We went and saw it on Friday. And that's inspired. The movie, this is Romulus. It's a 10 out of 10, man. It is fun. It's awesome. It's creepy. It's scary. Like the characters are good. The story's good. It has great pacing. It's not too long. It's not too short. He went and saw it again today. And he's talking about going to see it a third time. Like he loves it. Yeah.
I did hear that they employed a lot of practical like alien effects. Like the aliens are not all like CGI. So
hardly any CGI. I mean, the aliens look real because they are technically. They built these giant robots and then skinned them in the alien skin. And so everything that you see in there is real. It's great, man. Okay. It is a fun, awesome watch. I would see it again. But I went back. All the Alien movies are on Hulu. So I went and watched the first one, which I didn't know was made in the 70s, dude. It is old. Pretty good. I watched the second one, Aliens, and
Aliens is good.
Aliens is good. Definitely more of like a shooter vibe. The first one is very
horror, space horror,
for sure,
sci-fi horror, whatever.
And now I'm watching Aliens 3, and then there's Aliens Resurrection, and then there's Aliens Covenant, and then there's Aliens.
Don't forget Prometheus.
There's Prometheus, and then Covenant, and then Romulus. So there's a shit ton of them, and they're all pretty good. I'm pretty stoked on Alien right now.
You're gonna be an alien head before it's all said and done. Man.
Have you seen the popcorn bucket for the Alien movie?
I have, with the face hugger, right?
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah. It's the big alien head.
Oh,
yeah, okay. Yeah. It's one of those.
Okay.
Man, those face huggers are. There's a scene in this one, dude, where you see the. I don't know. It looks like a wiener. I know it's not, but
the ding-a-ling.
The ding. But Aliens, the whole series, 2 thumbs up.
Bet. All right.
Go see that new one.
Getting invaded. What do you need?
I don't know where the turkey is. I want to make a turkey.
I think it's all gone. Can you go? Because I'm recording right now, okay? Go shut the door. Love ya. Shut the door real good. All right. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm
not even going to cut that out.
30, oh, yeah. Well, keep it going. All right. Keep on rocking. All right. Are we crushed?
We're crushed. That was it.
We're crushed.
I'll report back on Cyberpunk next week, and go watch Aliens if you haven't.
I'm excited, man. I want to hear more about that. It's going to make me want to get back into it. But October 25th, Black Ops 6.
Yeah.
That's
ready. Not that far.
It's not that far. It's like 2 months.
Do you know Metallica was a year ago?
That's bonkers.
I have this journal thing, and it came out. It came back 1 year ago. Metallica a couple days ago. Year, dude.
That doesn't feel right at all.
No, that feels like it was 3 months ago.
A year since I shit my pants the next morning.
A year, man.
A year.
It's frightening.
It is.
All right.
But it was a good night.
Want a questions?
Want a questions?
All right. I got them all here. Maybe we can just I'll drive this segment since I got them all in front of me. Because also I'm such a good reader, I never stumble over words. Yeah. All right. Who else? Who other than Cool Boy 3010? I'm just starting from the top.
Who better?
And working our way down. Okay, here's a hypothetical for you. Imagine you're driving down one of those middle of the nowhere roads, the ones where it's just flat and you see someone. Oh, it's just flat land and you see someone once every 30 minutes. You see an intersection in the distance, a four-way stop, but there's no one there or around you at all. Oh, do you stop at the sign or drive through it? Okay. I think this is
like a morality
yeah,
question?
Like, are you stopping at the stop sign when there's nobody in sight?
I have not. Like, I've done that. Yeah, like, if I pull up to a red light in the dead of night, because some red lights, I don't know if they're on a timer or the sensor's broken or what, but they're just like, I'm going to be red for 5 minutes. And you look left, you look right, there's nobody around.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm running that one.
I'm running that
You got to make sure there's not cameras on there, though, because today, especially in the big city, like, there's cameras on all these intersections. But
normally you can see that.
Yeah.
Normally, like, it's pretty evident if there is a camera.
I will absolutely not stop at that. In fact, any stop sign that I roll up to, like anyone in the city, ever, as I roll up to it, I'm already scanning the other three sides. If there's nobody there, I will slow down. I'm not blowing through it. But if there's nobody at any of the other three sides, I'm not stopping. I'm just not doing it. And what's really frustrating is when you're like in a line and you're moving up towards the stop sign and there's nobody else coming in any other direction. But every car actually wants to come to a complete stop, look left, look right, look left again, and then go. I'll just go through it. There's nobody there.
It depends on how, like, what is your certainty level that there's not a cop watching that intersection, which is totally dumb, right? Like, the cop should have the common sense, like, yeah, no one's coming.
You're good.
Yield. You probably, if you just yield, we'll take that, right? But, like, someone once told me that if you pull up to a stop sign and the cop doesn't see your front end, like, do the dip.
Yeah.
Like, you fully stopped, like, mashed on the brakes. Then they have the right to stop you because it's not considered a complete stop.
I think they can also, if it not only is it, that's one factor. The other is where you make a complete stop. Like, if they really want to get technical, I think if you don't make that complete stop behind the line, they could pull you over for, like, you were too far forward.
Oh, I've definitely, like, been in the wrong there too.
Halfway in the intersection.
Well, you want me to, like, stick my head out the window? Whatever.
Everybody here is running it. Ewolf 019.
Yeah.
This is a good one. Do you guys have a band where there's no skipping any tracks on their album? So I guess he said a certain album where it's just you press play on the first one and you run it.
Do you?
I absolutely do. I don't know if I have one on the top of my head because you and I, we've talked about it a lot. We're album guys, right? Yeah. For me, like a good album front to back is something that really resonates with me. But off the top of me head,
off the top of me head, yeah,
I don't have anything great right now. You know what? I'm actually wearing their shirt. These guys right here, that last album. Yeah, you start with Domination. There's really not a skipper on that album. That is a throw it on in the beginning, and you could just listen all the way
within
through.
the ruins for our listeners.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For our audio medium. Yeah, within the ruins.
Yeah.
I think that album is called, what is it? Is it something? It's something. It's their newest one. The first one's called Domination, but yeah, you can just play it all the way through. What about you?
They got an. I think the only album that meets that criteria for me is going to be probably Language by The Contortionist, which is a really. And I'm not saying it to be like super deep cut, like self-licking ice cream cone about it, but it really is like front to back such a zen experience. It's good, man. It's good. Every track is good. There are songs that I think I would still like if it was in a pinch. I would probably like meh, but there's no song on it that if I had to listen to it, I would be mad about.
Right. Yeah.
So, that's definitely the first one that comes to mind. I can't really. I'm with you.
I feel like I have a better answer, but
I feel like in the day and age where we don't have to,
right.
meaning like we have the ability to like make a playlist or skip with ease.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have many answers for that question these days.
This is also proof that we don't read these ahead of time.
True.
We're answering these live.
Yeah. We did not pre-flight these at all. So.
All right. Snake bite pain. Snake bite pain. Yeah. Some of these people, a lot of these after our last episode that came in here and talked about their name, where it came from. Cool Boy said that he's had his since like 4th grade. Or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cool Boy.
I was just talking about his name. Next one, Snake Bite Pain. Dealer's Choice. Oh, it's got 2. If you had, this one's pretty easy for me. If you had access to a single piece of top secret information, what topic would it be? I.e. aliens, Kennedy assassination, etc. Mine would be aliens, without a doubt. Just give me the answers.
Aliens would be a fun one, I think. Man, you really are on an aliens kick. I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist on this one. I think for the most part, everything that happened associated with this was pretty cut and dry. But I would love to know more from a classified top secret level about what went on with 9/11. I really, really do feel like there is probably a lot more to that we will never know, and that the government is probably content to take to the grave, essentially, or to archive indefinitely. That, I don't know. I know you were a little bit younger than me, so maybe that wasn't such an important moment. And I don't like, I'm not trying to get like uber like patriotic or anything about it, but it was absolutely like it was an upheaval of everything that we knew
right
at that point, and it was certainly like a sobering moment for America. So yeah, I would just like to, like, if I had like free pickings, hey,
that's a good one.
Read me in on 9/11. What was up with that? Like,
what was up with that?
I like, even if it is cut and dry,
right?
Whether it is or isn't, there are elements of it that are absolutely gonna stay classified indefinitely.
Yeah,
and I want to know what those things are.
How many people have? That's like a presidency, and how many other people would actually know that? Is that like the president and then 3 people below him, or like who all knows that stuff?
Man, it's maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, who can say?
Do you ever look at ex-presidents like George Washington, my God, George Bush, and just like the things that he knows, like the stuff in his brain, man.
Fucking the things that Trump knows. Any president after 4 years in the White House, minimum, after 1 year in the White House, they probably know some shit, man. Absolutely.
That's crazy. Is that day one of presidency? Here's a manila folder with everything you need to know.
I don't know about day one, but I think it's just kind of like a country like America does not get to where we're at in the world stage by not like we have probably accumulated a closet full of skeletons that would take way more than 1 day to debrief someone, like to bring someone up to speed on. Like I would imagine America's like deeper, darker secrets is probably a week long. Like, oh yeah, we did this. Oh yeah, we did this. Oh yeah, we did this. Like
it couldn't fit nicely in a manila folder.
No. I imagine there is probably like a fucking warehouse somewhere full of manila folders, Cody, that is like all of this shit is unknown to the public, and if you tell anyone, we will make sure you get grassy knolled.
That is so fascinating.
Yeah,
it's fascinating.
That's just what I don't know. I don't know shit, but that's just what I think. That's my guess.
Or do you?
I don't. I don't know anything that I can't say like on this podcast because it's classified is not anything like anyone's gonna like take and run with. It is very like marginally interesting information at best.
Oh boy, let's see. Okay,
yeah, here.
Brave.
Oh wait.
Oh, you want to rip one?
Nope. Go ahead.
Brave Athos. This is a long one. You're driving away from Taco Bell with your afternoon shipment of Doritos Locos Tacos and a crispy Baja Blast when you hit a pothole, causing you to nearly spill that precious beverage out. When out of the pothole, that damn genie appears once again. Have we talked about a genie somewhere? Just kidding. I'll save that overly zealous premise for a future question. Am I missing something?
Apparently there's a genie. I'm just rocking with it at this point.
What were each of your childhood / teenage holy grails? That thing you dreamed of buying or owning and never got it, or one day finally did. For me,
what did that have to do? Hold on.
That's why it took me so long to proofread that.
I had a Baja Blast and some Dorito Locos Tacos. I drove over a pothole and there's a genie. And now you're telling me that you're asking me what my holy grail when I was a kid was. Is he asking like object thing? Like
I think so. For his example, he said it was a Gibson Les Paul. Spent most of my teenage years rocking with a Squire Strat.
Okay.
Saved up and bought one. Yeah. So I think it's just like a thing.
What was yours?
I remember when the Xbox 360 came out.
Ooh.
And we did not get one right off the bat. But that was one of those things where it felt like it was so awesome that I couldn't even wrap my head around it. And I remember that was around the time when I would still get the Game Informer magazines in the mail.
Oh, man. Yeah.
And, each month that was like the highlight of my month was getting those magazines and flipping through. And that's when all the next gen games were coming out. Yeah. And the graphics, I just remember being mind blowing, and the games were way more deep. And it felt like I feel like it was a while until we actually got an Xbox 360. And I remember the day we got one because we bought it from Toys R Us. And dude, like the 360 was like,
peppered with like things that don't exist anymore. Game Informer, Toys R Us.
Yeah. So the 360 for me, off the top of my dome, was that one thing that was like,
definitely
wanted it so hard, and it took a while, but we did that. And the PSP, I remember feeling the same way about that. The original PSP when it came out,
the OG PSP was man. Why did we not do more with that? Oh my god.
Yeah, so
loved that.
Game console heavy, but one of those two things really sticks out to me.
I think it's a good one. I remember really wanting, especially in my teen years, because I was playing in bands and I was wanting to make music. The whole time I was doing that, I was borrowing people's amps.
Mm-hmm.
And I hated that. And I felt like such a shitbag for doing that. But I had no money. And my parents were not in a position to help me. They were not going to help me. So it's not a knock on them. I say that. I wanted a half stack so bad. I wanted a really good amp and speaker cabinet, preferably like all tube. Everyone back in the mid 2000s was using like Mesa rectifier or Mesa Boogie triple rectifiers, dual rectifiers, Marshall JCM 700s. Any of those would have been fine. PV60, or well, I guess at the time it would have been a PV50 150. I wanted that so badly, and I just did not have the funds. The irony is, when I joined the Army and I finally had some money in my pocket, I bought some of that. I bought a half stack, and I had no one to play with. And that was painful. That was painful. I don't know, wanting that so badly and finally having it and realizing like I had no one to really enjoy it with was definitely like a part of my journey. It's part of my journey, but it was definitely like I thought for a long time what I was supposed to do was be in a band. And I looking back, I think you were meant to make some music, man, then that's fine, but I don't think you were meant to be in a band. So maybe not right now at least. But
not right now. You never know.
Never know, man. Never too old to rock.
Dude, look at the boys in Metallica.
That's right. In their 60s.
I saw
their Cialis and their
saw a picture of It was on Reddit. Somebody stumbled upon him, like I think it was in Chicago. I don't know, before the show or something. I almost sent the picture to you. He looks so cool. He just had boots on, blue jeans, a black T-shirt, smoking this big old cigar outside, just kind of hanging out. Got the big sunglasses on, like just living his best life in his old age.
My man. Looking good.
A couple more here, and then I actually hear my baby crying in there, so I feel like maybe a couple more, and then we'll do it.
Get to stepping.
Yeah. Edward Pellew. Edward Pellew. Have we had that name before?
That sounds familiar, actually.
If you could pick any time to have been born, past or future, when would you pick? That's tough because I don't know what the future holds.
Have we done this one before? If I could pick any time, past or present, to be born.
As the words left my lips, I felt a tingle of familiarity.
Yes, we read it. Yeah. I think what I would have, if we haven't read it before, I'm going to answer it again. Because I think what my heart wants is to live in cowboy times. Now I'm certain we've read it before. I play Red Dead, and I wish every time that I could have lived back on the old West, even though people were dying at the ripe old age of 42.
Yeah. If I could do it like, what was that movie on HBO where it was like
Westworld.
cowboys? Yes. Like
Westworld.
like if I could enter that world, but it wasn't like my actual reality.
Zero stakes. Yeah.
Yes. I think definitely cowboy time.
Minus the robot uprising, preferably.
Yes.
But yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Old times, cowboy times.
Here's one more. We started with Cool Boy. We'll end with Cool Boy.
All right. Sounds good.
This is actually to you.
Oh.
Chief, Do you ever embody your characters in real life, like with your kids, your wife, in public, etc.? Not that you necessarily start talking like them, but act like them.
Yeah.
Do those ever surface? That is a great question, actually. You have all these different voices and mannerisms and all this stuff in your head. Do they ever come out when you're just Josh Green?
Yeah, all the time. Mainly when I'm like getting onto my kids, like if you are in chart, yeah, hey, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Yeah, like, yeah, absolutely. Like when my kids are messing up, like making messes in my house. They've been making a lot of messes lately. That's been a theme. And I come home and there's just like trash on the floor next to the trash can.
Yeah.
Immediately, like out of nowhere, my voice is like, "Hey, what are we doing? Hey, who the freak?" You know what I mean? Like it absolutely all the time.
Are they familiar with those characters? Like, have they seen the video?
They know of them. Yeah. I have to imagine watching the characters at this point would be like, that's just how he talks to us when he's cranky. So yeah, like there absolutely are moments where, especially like Sergeant Major comes out whenever I'm griping at everyone. Billy Friendly is kind of a amalgamation of like my dad, me and Cody's grandpa, and other like Army leaders that I've worked for. But yeah, like some of the things he says, like, God, it's hot as fish grease out here. I've said that, not ironically. Like
fat and sassy.
Yeah, fat and sassy. When I call my dad and he's like, "How you doing, Dad?" He's like, "I'm just getting fat and sassy." So he says that, and it gets logged and probably
that's funny.
Regurgitated at some point. So
well, on that note, the working is awesome. I can't wait to see more of that.
Thank you, man.
That was great. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I imagine that takes what I'm thinking the entire time as I'm watching it is this looks like it was really hard to make.
It's just tedious. It really is. It's just tedious. It is, it's getting all the movements. It's getting, all the trying to make it, I'm trying to make it feel less robotic,
right,
and make it feel a little more fluid. Like this is how people would actually move, or at least kind of like I've been watching. There's 12 principles of animation, right, and it's about how like characters like things you don't think about, like when you move your hand, like your hand kind of like a cartoon character's hand anyway, kind of like has this like bounce back, right? Like you lift it and it kind of bounces back, and that's what helps in animation. It helps it feel alive. So like stuff like that, like when a character jumps, they kind of, when they land, they kind of like bounce and compress a little bit, right? Like
it's not just like
it's not like Mario,
right? Okay.
So trying to get better at it. So if you watch it and some of that stuff's kind of rough,
that's interesting. That's a whole world of things and rules and stuff that just, if you don't do that, you don't think about it. You consume animated stuff, but you don't think about all those tiny little details that goes into it that makes it feel more alive.
It really does change how you watch animation and other things too. Like, like I move all the cameras and kind of set all the shots up myself as well. So you do kind of look at like, hey, even live action stuff. You're like, how are they using the camera here? Like, could that be repurposed at all? Like, could I improve, like stuff like lighting and stuff like that. So it's definitely stuff it's like you said, stuff I never thought about. I was just an enjoyer. Right.
Yeah.
And now that I'm kind of doing it in this very like fringe kind of way, it's definitely like trying to really observe and drink that in. But yeah, it's fun. It's really, I would not do it if it wasn't fun. It's not doing bonkers business on YouTube. So that's definitely not one of the reasons I'm doing it. Is just like people are just watching it like fucking crazy. I make it because I like it. I like telling stories, and I'm gonna keep doing it.
It would just take a little bit of time to get traction, but it is good. So they always say that good things will get noticed. So maybe it just takes a little bit of time, but
we'll see.
It's very good.
I'm content to just make it, and whoever sees it, and that's okay.
Well, I'm watching.
My man. Love you.
All right. I think that's going to do it. We actually do have a few more, but
We'll save them for next week.
We'll save them. We never promised anything.
We had a big plan to do a guest on our 40th episode. We kind of drug our feet a little bit. We couldn't get anyone locked in for that. But we've got a couple of people who have since tagged us back and said, hey, please have us on. We'd love to be on the episode. We'd love to come on. Guys and girls alike, which is really cool. So hopefully within the next, between 41 and 50, we anticipate having some guests on and having them contribute to What Are You Crushing and all that stuff. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. I think this will be a good episode decade, if you will, 41 to 50.
Yep.
Yeah. It'll be a good stretch. And as we get closer to 50, we're going to be getting in on that 1 year mark. So
maybe we'll try and do plan an in person for that one.
Oh, absolutely. Hopefully we hit a couple more by then, but
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, thanks for listening. Continue to watch. We're getting through this first year, coming out with bells on. We're looking great. Proud of y'all. Thank you for our writers sending those questions in. Cool Boy, E-Wolf, Brave Athos, all you guys.
The dogs.
The best. The dogs, the boys, and girls.
And girls.
Looking at you. But yeah, thank you for listening. I'd like to wish you all very special Bad Jab blessings.
Bad Jab.
Courtesy of Brave Athos, who made a late night Dorito taco.
We're gonna need an explanation.
And then encountered a genie because he ran over a fucking pothole. Yeah.
Oh.
And then asked us a completely unrelated question. I love it. I love it. Thank you guys so much. We'll be back for episode 42 next week.
Be here.
Get fisted.
Bye.